to Talking With, and for today's episode, I'm chatting with Valerie Boyle, who's currently appearing in Stage West Calgary's production of Unnecessary Farce, a hilarious play I've already seen, and I'll link my review for you. But thanks so much for taking time this afternoon to talk to me, Valerie.
Thank you, Dan. It's a pleasure.
Excellent. Now, I'm not sure if my notes are correct. You're just getting started in theatre right now.
Yes, I'm in there, baby. I've been in theatre since I was 17. And so 21, that's 4 years.
That's perfect. Well, I actually did a little bit of homework, and your training actually goes overseas.
Yeah.
So the Academy of Dramatic Arts and the Royal Academy.
Yeah, but that's a story. I didn't go to school. I went for about a week or two. It's a shame. It's a blight on my history, especially because my mum and dad paid for me to go there, and I got a job singing in a dance band and a show band, and was up all hours of the night. So I didn't go to school. I only went for the first couple of weeks, and then of course when you stop going, you're too scared to go back. And so in the end they wrote my my parents and said, this is no good, she's not attending, she has no desire. So anyway, it was a huge shame in my family. So yeah, you dug up an interesting piece of history. So I did fill in the blanks.
So were there any classmates that you went on to that we might see in Downton Abbey or anything? Did you have any connections in your short time there?
In my short time, no, you know what? I don't remember. I only remember Linda Drinkwater, but Linda Drinkwater wasn't with me. She was at Central, and she went on to do, and I got to know her just a little bit. A lovely, beautiful actress, and she went on to do all Creatures Great and Small. So she became very, very famous. So she was my era, but that's the only one. That's interesting that you say that. Yeah, that's the only one.
What brought you to Canada?
We emigrated my parents emigrated in 1964, and then I went back to go to school. So I went back in 1967 to go to school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you do any theatre in England, or?
I did do theatre. I did. I did some community, but I also auditioned for a show called Hair.
Oh my gosh!
And got it, but wouldn't. But they said you have to. There is a nude. They held me aside. And they said there will be a nude. And I thought, I mean, at that time I'd never had sex, so that was the last. So, well, I don't, when they say I got it, I was in the last runnings, and they said, this is what's going to happen. And anyway, and I went to see it, and I was actually regretted not, going ahead, because it was done very tastefully. You really, couldn't see anything terrible. But yeah. But there we go. So those are, all I'm doing is talking about my failures.
Well, you certainly have got some successes. I know I took a look at your Talent House resume, and it's just crazy. 3 pages of credits.
Wow.
It was just amazing.
I've got to shorten that.
But I also see on your IMDb page that you've got quite a bit of TV. In addition to theatre, you've got TV credits, movie credits, Degrassi, The Next Generation, Franklin, Rupert, all classics here in Canada. And a movie with Vin Diesel. What was that like?
Yes, he's a very nice guy. They filmed it up in Canada, and it was what movie was it?
Pacifier.
Pacifier. the pacifier, and it was great. I just had a small couple of roles in it, but it was 11 days of work and wonderful. Ka-ching, ka-ching. 11 days was one of those gifts that you get in this business, and I think it was a gift all around. It was Shaftesbury Films, and the director was wonderful. It was just a wonderful experience. The Canadian casts were great. It was fabulous. It was a great experience.
It's certainly not the only movie credit you've got, but that one kind of jumped out with Vin Diesel. The play you're in right now, Unnecessary Farce here in Calgary, isn't a musical, but you've got rave reviews in the past for playing Sophie Tucker.
Oh yeah,
Tell us a little bit about some of your work there.
I wrote that production and performed in it for a lot of years. Sophie Tucker, and do you know who Sophie Tucker was?
Yeah, of course.
Sophie Tucker was a vaudevillian. She was sort of a Mae West kind of a person. So lots of double entendres, and a big blonde woman, and just she was the one who actually made famous My Yiddish Mama.
Yeah. Beautiful
song, and so I loved singing that. But Sophie was a delight to perform and to interpret for several years, and yeah, I was lucky enough to get lots of rave reviews and had a great time. The audiences seemed to love it. Yeah.
Do you see any musicals coming down the road for you?
You know what, I would like to write something, and I was actually thinking about it last night. There is a project I really want to do, and it was made into a movie. Again, it's from the war, from the Holocaust kind of thing, and but it's a beautiful story. It was made into a movie, and I just love this story. I don't want to say too much because I'm trying to
get the rights
and see about because it was started out just as a little tiny book, and then it was made into a beautiful movie. Oh, so lots of pathos and just a beautiful story. And anyway, that's what I would like to do. I was thinking about that last night. I've got to try and do that. It's been on my back burner for. So funny you asked that. It's been on my back burner for years. So it's something I have to do.
Well, you know, it's interesting because actors are always wondering where their next
what the next project is.
So to make it.
And I would love to come on in my house.
Rosemary Clooney. Oh my gosh.
I would love to do a show on Rosemary Clooney. That is also a project on my back burner. So I love Rosemary Clooney, so I would love to. She's got a fantastic story, so that's also. So those are, but you know, lots of them you've got to do it yourself. There's lots of projects you've got to put them out yourself. So yeah.
Interestingly enough, what we're doing today, and even movies and television, if we make a screw up, we can go back and edit it out.
I love it.
But in live theatre, you've been at it some time.
Oh yes.
Have there been moments that would just?
Oh, let me see. Well, okay. I was on Broadway for 5 years, doing in a play called Mary Poppins, playing the role of Mrs. Brill, the housekeeper, and one time my underwear fell off the. I don't know the. I have a problem with underwear, and I'll tell you another one with Sophie. But anyway, the elastic was something broke in it, and it literally came down, and I had to step out of it on stage in front of this Broadway audience. And it just happened to be the day when it was the day for the deaf, and so it was the performance for the deaf. So the whole stage left, audience right, were a deaf audience, and there were signers. Oh, no. And I don't think because of the light, the way the lighting went a little bit dark, I was thinking I could do this because I was wearing a long skirt. I could do this discreetly without an audience member noticing. And the guy that was playing Roberts and I, next to me, Andrew Keenan Bolger, he saw me. He looked in my eyes and he saw me. And so I sort of discreetly stepped out of my underwear and kicked them. Andrew Keenan Bolger picked them up and put them behind his back. And then I turned and I saw the signer go. And actually told the deaf audience that my underwear had come off, and they all laughed.
A showstopper.
Showstopper. Oh gosh. But anyway, yes. So that was. And another. Do you want another?
Yeah,
one?
let's hear the one about Sophie.
Oh, I did. I was on a show with David Warwick. Was playing Teddy, my accompanist, and. It was a show where my underwear, my show underwear, had been lost. So they went and found a pair of underwear to try and put in, and the elastic broke. And as I was changing, they came off, and I was going into the jungle number. The underwear slid down my legs. David Warwick turned and saw that I was having and started playing the stripper. Da 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 da. Anyway, the audience broke into laughter. So I went with it, took the underwear, twisted them around my finger, threw them to the back of the stage. All of a sudden I turned and I see the two stage hands on either side of the stage fall to the floor, and the audience is falling to the floor. My underwear stuck on a nail on the back wall. And I didn't know it. My underwear stuck to the back wall. Which is embarrassing, but I could have done 10 minutes on that alone. The fact that Sophie Tucker's underwear stuck to the back wall. Yeah.
So that's
oh yes,
being upstage from downstage.
Oh boy.
I read a terrific feature when I was doing my homework for this interview that ran in the Hamilton Spectator, and obviously the reporter has a background with you because they were...
is this Gary Smith?
I believe it was. They were talking about the whole trip to Broadway, and then he went down, I guess, to join you.
Yes, a couple of times.
Oh my gosh.
A couple of times. Gary Smith, I adore him. He's lovely.
So
took me out to lunch.
That must have been absolutely the dream come true for you.
It was. But there are more dreams now. It really was. I mean, the people that helped me in that, the people, Anthony Lynn Ants, he actually made that possible for me to go. He was the director, and David, anyway, it was just David Caddick, Anthony Lynn. It was just, they came and auditioned, and they liked me enough to bring me to Broadway, which it's a thrill, and so it was something I will never forget. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I still have a home in New York, and I still have friends in New York, and so it's beautiful, beautiful time in my life.
It went on tour.
Went on tour. I started with it on tour, and then they made the decision that I would go to Broadway. So yes, I went to Broadway. I was on tour. I opened up in LA. I was on tour for just it started the rehearsal 8 months, 8 or 9 months. Yeah, so it was lovely.
So now let's move up to Calgary, where we are right now.
I love Calgary.
And this terrific production you're in. I don't want to give too much away because it's a farce, but it's also a bit of a mystery. And you're with an incredible cast of people.
Oh, incredible.
Terrific director in
J. Sean Elliott. Wonderful. He was a joy. He was a joy to be directed by and to collaborate with, and just it was a wonderful rehearsal period. Wonderful, fun.
And an emerging young playwright as well.
Oh, and an emerging young playwright, Paul Slade-Smith. He's wonderful. He is wonderful, and he has written a great play, a great farce in this. The audience does not stop laughing, and it's wonderful. It's and I'm lucky enough now to have been. Now I became Facebook friends. I was friends from New York were emailing me and messaging me, where are you now and what are you doing? And I said, I'm doing a play by Paul Slade-Smith. And they were, oh, I know Paul. Anyway, Kathy Callahan, bless her heart, she said, she introduced us. And so we have now become Facebook and email friends. And he's lovely. He's having as much fun reading the reviews and hearing about the exploits of the play as we are. Yeah.
Well, it's a great time, and I know you're out of the goodness of your heart. You're here in between 2 shows today, so I'm so thankful
Sunday
for that.
Shows.
But I've just had a ball. It has been
Dad,
wonderful meeting you.
It's lovely to meet you too.
I wish you continued success in this run.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you so much.
I have loved it. Thank you.